This is it. The world as you know it is over. We probably have a year to react. If you understand the trajectory of what's been happening, how quickly that thing is launching, you can imagine how it's going to look like next year. I could probably, on my phone, order a printer, and by the time I get home, I can print COVID. And that's available, open source for everyone, for around $22,000. And I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you that the water is boiling. My objective is for you to jump out of the pan. The key word to artificial intelligence is singularity. A singularity is an event horizon where the rules of the game change so much that you're no longer able to understand how the game will be played. When the rules of the game become that the smartest person you can ever hire in your company is no longer a human, everything you know about the rules of HR change. As the rules of the game change, we can end up in a magnificent utopia of abundance, and we can also end up in a dystopia of a very difficult time. A nation that gets a significant AI advantage in cybersecurity or in robotic warfare would have a very significant advantage, and all of the other nations would have to submit. There is a massive concentration of power. At the same time, there is a proliferation of power. Synthetic biology now allows me to print living DNA. That proliferation of power will lead to an environment of a lot of regulation and surveillance and control. A lot of your consumers will run out of business. They'll basically become out of a job because jobs will go to the automation platform. I know I sound very grim. I apologize. I'm just telling you what is about to happen. What will happen in the next 5 to 10 years, a retailer who knows how to use AI really, really well will take the place of a retailer that doesn't. And so you might as well be that retailer. The nature of human connection will change massively. And it's becoming so difficult to identify what is real and what is not.
Can you tell I'm not real?
There are more than 50,000 AI influencers on Instagram today that people follow and listen to that are not even human. It makes us crave genuine human connection even more. So this, by the way, if I send the avatar next year, it's not going to feel the same. Let's talk about the abundance. The reason we have all of this technology is because there is a plug in the wall that is providing a very valuable resource called electricity. It's in the back of our minds, we don't even think about it anymore. There will be another plug in the wall, probably in your phone, and today I plugged into that intelligence and I got myself an extra 25 IQ points as I was analyzing a complex problem using AI. There will be a moment in the future where I will plug in and get 400 IQ points more. If you give me or any of my peers that I worked with at Google 400 IQ points more, I will solve every problem on planet Earth. Every single one of them. Climate change, wars, wealth, whatever. With 400 IQ points more, I can plant a garden outside, or you can walk to one tree and pick an apple and walk to another tree and pick an iPhone. And we are on the verge, if you understand where we are on nanophysics, we are on the verge of being able to do that. We just need to be a slightly more intelligent. Imagine if we can solve energy problem to the point where energy becomes zero cost. Because energy is so abundant around us. Would we fight over energy anymore? How would the cost of products become if energy was free? That's a utopia that is almost impossible to imagine, that completely changes everything we've ever learned, and it is literally a few years away. There are, however, on the path to get there, quite a few challenges. And those challenges, let me be very, very clear, are not a problem with AI. There's absolutely nothing wrong with artificial intelligence. There is absolutely no threat. There is a lot wrong with the way humans will use this superpower. It's like raising Superman. If you teach the infant to protect and serve, it becomes Superman. If you teach it to go and rob a bank and kill your enemy, it becomes supervillain. We humans have lived in a world of scarcity that basically says, for me to grow, my competitor has to shrink. There was a time when we were hunter-gatherers. The best hunter in the tribe would be able to maybe feed the tribe for a day more, and the maximum automation he had was a spear. When we became farmers, the best farmer could feed the tribe a month more because that best farmer knew how to use a form of automation called soil. The soil did most of the work. When the Industrial Revolution started, factories with one person handling the operation would multiply the production. When information revolution happened, we now don't even have to go to work. We can work from home and make a difference. Every time the form of automation became more powerful, the more we multiplied our productivity. But at the same time, the more we multiplied the power of those who owned the automation. The best hunter in the tribe may have been preferred by the women of the tribe. That's the maximum he could get. The best farmers didn't make the money. The landlord made the money because the landlord owned the automation. And so you will see very soon we will have trillionaires, not billionaires, because some people will acquire massive power and wealth because the automation using AI is basically multiple times the automation that was using the internet. Around 70% of the code written last year was written by a machine. Every piece of code I've ever written before the year 2000 was a piece of code where I solved the problem first and then told the computer how to solve it. By the turn of the century, this ended. We discovered something called deep learning. Computers find their own intelligence. We don't teach them how, we just give them the data to learn. And every task we've ever given them, they've become better than humans at. So they are the world champion in chess, they're the world champion in Go, the best writers, the best artists, the best musicians, the best anything we've ever given them. By 2016, we started to fold proteins. It would take a group of PhD students around 8 months to fold one protein. We created AlphaFold and it folded 200 million proteins in a day. When ChatGPT came out in 2023, people said, oh, a machine that is estimated in certain tasks to perform at 155 IQ. Elon Musk is 155. Einstein, which was never really measured, is estimated to be 162. The last trend I want to talk about, the end of the truth. There is a lot happening today where you no longer know if it's true or not. And I think the reality is one of the biggest skills, is those with authenticity and genuine honesty will very quickly get, again, the favor of people around them, of their clients and their partners and so on. There will be a time, in my view, where we will all go back and say, why are we competing for this? The difference between the worst car in the world and the best car in the world is zero. Everything's so perfect. The abundance that every one of us can have today and the life that the Roman emperors had is infinite. Eventually, humanity will come to a point where the extra fight is not worth the effort. There are 3 skills that every organization and every human need to learn. One is learn the tools, learn AI. Go to one of the top tools, Gemini or ChatGPT, and basically ask and say, what AI tools should I be aware of if I want to create videos or create marketing material or whatever? And it will tell you, and then you can follow from there. So nobody will teach you AI. There will not be a course. You just hold the tool and start chatting to it. Skill number 2 is I urge you to find the truth. Find a way to tell yourself, not everything I'm being told is true. I need to find out for myself what the truth is. The biggest difference between ChatGPT and Google search, when you searched Google, it gave you 1 million sites and told you find your own truth. When you search ChatGPT, it tells you with confidence, the answer is, boom. The third skill is human connection. I'm no longer writing books. I just had my 4th bestseller last week, and that's it. I no longer need to do the tasks that they can do better than me. But the task I can do better than them is this, to be able to see you and hug you and say hi and so on and so forth. Believe me, in the next 5 to 10 years, those who will capitalize on human connection will actually outperform those who don't. So those who replace everything with a machine are going to become more efficient, but those who will capitalize on human connection will become more loved. So much of what is available out there beats the human capability to comprehend. How much data exactly can you cram into this little one machine, and how quickly can you transfer that data to this machine is truly where the advantage of AI is. Their memory is the entire history of humanity. Everything that's ever been written, everything that's ever happened can be comprehended by one data set. And they communicate that data set between them in a matter of a microsecond when it would take me half an hour presentation to communicate it to you. If you have a situation when you're driving today and you have to brake and you learn something from it, I don't learn. If a self-driving car goes through that situation, every self-driving car on the planet learns. Believe it or not, the top commercial application of AI in the last 10 years has been manipulating humans. So everything that you see on social media is a machine that has learned so well which video I will click on next. It also can learn so well which product I will buy at which price, and I don't even know that. My biggest ask is that I urge you to remember that the way you will use AI is the way your kids are going to be treated. And so I ask every single one of you, start believing in a world of abundance, where basically, if you do things with ethics, you can continue to grow. But in the process, you would be teaching AI to be Superman, not supervillain. And so don't abuse AI to take more money from consumers. Use AI to create a better life for consumers. You still make money. When people ask me about the threat of AI and what can we do about it, I answer with one word. It's an ethics problem. It's about teaching AI not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal. And the only way you can do that is to be a good parent. The true test of humanity is if I told you we're going into an age of total abundance, and all that I ask you for is use that abundance ethically, would you be able to do it? If we can manage to get this right, we would end up in the utopia I described to you. If we don't, believe it or not, we will still end up in the utopia. We will just have to struggle along the path until we're convinced that there is no need for the fight anymore.